don't, I mean, we should not take it as a light, every concept. So just focus. Let me create a one more package for methods. So inside of this, let's create a class method example. So if you see, there is a main method. I said this is a method. Inside of a class, we can create a methods. So as we said, main is a method, and which is a method which, if you run the program, which is a method needs to be executed automatically by the JVM. So which will find out a main method and execute the main method and print. I mean, line by line, it will interpret and it will execute the program. So in the main, I mean, like the main method, we can create our own methods as well. So main is a not only one method, we can able to create our own methods as well. So let's see how can we create other methods, customized methods, user defined methods. You can say user defined methods. So just ignore the part what is public, what is static, and this we talk about now. This we will talk what is a void now, and name of a method. So I just wanted to give, even before that, I just wanted to give the signature of a method. So this is access specifier, access specifier, and static and non-static, and return type, method name. This is what. And if you have any method, you can create empty arguments, or else you can create you can have arguments as well. Arguments if you have. So this is a method signature. So method syntax basically. I'm just commenting out. So each and every block has their own specific meaning. So this is a public. You can have other words as well, public, protected, a lot of other access modifiers are there, access specifiers. So you can have any one of this. And second one is static or non-static. You can have only static or non-static. We will talk about that once the concept comes. So this is the one which we will discuss today. Mostly we will discuss today. Return type. So this is the return type actually. And this is a method name. And this is arguments. So this is a one argument it is having. If you have multiple arguments, it will be comma separated. Okay. Now this is a method body. So this is a method body. Whatever you write inside of it, this will be your that method body. Okay. Now let's create a one method. This main method at last. After that, and whenever you create a method, and I mean, if you're not calling, I mean, how you will call the method, how you will execute your own method by calling that only, right? If you're not calling the method which you created, JVM will not care about it. JVM, what is the work of a JVM? It's just picking up the main method, just execute the main method, not more than that. It will just execute the main method. Whatever the method you create, that doesn't matter for a JVM. It will just execute a main method only. So let's create one let's create one user defined method, public, static, void. Test is a method I wanted to create. So this is a method signature, what we talk about, method syntax or signature, whatever we call. So this is access specifier, static or non-static, return type, and a method name. And inside of this, you can just print whatever you want. Just whatever you want, just keep it. System.println or some variable you want to declare, and you do the sum. Yeah, whatever you want, you just do it. This is inside of a test method. Test method is called. Whenever you call a test method, this will just give you, just print this test method is called. And the method signature is what? So public static void test is a method name. This is a method symbol. You need to remember, this is a method symbol. And now one method is created. How can you call this method? Whenever now if you run this program, it will not do anything because main method is having nothing, no lines of a code, just nothing, right? If you put a system.out.println and main started, and if you run this, it will just print main started. Copy this. Main method ended. Run this. Main started, main ended is printed. But how can you call test method from a main method? I wanted to call the test method. So I just need to use the method name and with the method symbols. That's it. It will automatically call the test method. So the flow, it will start from a 10th line. It will just print this, and after that it will call. Whenever it calls, it will directly come to this and it will execute a whole method of a test, and it will come back again and it will execute this. So this is the flow. And how many lines it have, that doesn't matter. So this will execute, and after that only it will just come and execute the main end, right? Just execute it now. So main started, and second one is test method is called, and main ended. So this is a flow which will follow, and this is a method, normal method without return type and just without arguments. So void here is what? It will not return anything. We will discuss that later. That's fine. And this is about a method. So understood so far?
Sir, is method equals to functions like in C?
Yeah. It's like a function. You can call it as a functions as well in Java.
Okay. Okay.
So everyone understood so far? Okay. So now this is a normal method which you need to create. Which you need to create, and just like a just normal statements you can keep inside of a method, and you can able to call that by using the method name. So let's see, there will be a few more examples for a method, few more types of a method you can create, few more concepts actually you can say. That is a return type of it. So let's see the return type. I don't want to combine everything into the single class. I just wanted to create a new class. But you go to mute if you don't want to talk. Okay. This is a class which I created, and main method. And here if you see, I'll create one method just like a name, whatever the name you can give, that you can give it. And public void, sorry, static, you can keep static void, and the name of a method is something like sample. Okay, so this is a method which I created, and we just talked about void. This is an example for method with the return type. So void is a return type, I said. The place of a return type is occupied with the void. What about void? What is a void? Void is nothing but in English word nothing. Void is means nothing. It will become null, empty. So that means it will not return anything from this method. If you put a void, there is no return type. There is no returning from this method. There is no return value from this method. If you put something else in the sense something other data type, let's say if you put an int, it should return some integer value from this method. So that's why it is giving an error. Whenever I type int instead of void, it is giving some error because you just declare the return type as an int, and it is and there is no returning value from this method. So this method must return a result of a type int. So there is a two quick fixes: change the return type to the void. Second fix is change the return type to the void. They're asking to change back to the void. First one is add return statement. You can able to return the statement. You can able to return the value from this method. So how can you return the value? So let's see, int I equals to 10 I created. You can return the I now because it's an integer supportable variable. So if you return string value, it will not accept. It will not accept. If you return the string value in double quotes, it will not accept because the return type is int. You have to match the same type. You have to return the same type from this method. That's how the return type is defined here. Now return the I. So let's see the error first. So type mismatch cannot convert from string to int. That is expecting integer, but we provided string value. So return the int like this, or else you can directly return 20. You can directly return it, no problem, but you can just use a variable. That's fine. Int I equals to 10 and just returning the value. Just put a system.out.println, and even before that, sample method called and returning some int value. So you can keep anything here, any data type which we discussed, like int, long, short, byte, boolean, float, double, anything, string, anything, whatever the type is available in Java, you can keep it, and the same type should be returned. So let's see how can you call this method from a main method. Okay, so now let's see. Just using the sample method name. So call this method by using the method name, right? And even before this, I just wanted to keep some main is called main method started. Main method ended. In between these two, you just call the sample method, right? And what is the use of return type here? You are not storing anything. You are not using this I value. It is returning something. Returning something in the sense it should return some. It should return some value, and you can make use of it. You don't need to leave it as blank. You have to use it because it is returning something. So how can you use it? If you call the sample, it will just return the I value. It will just return the integer value. How can you use it? So just like a j equals to, you can call like this. You can use like this. So what will happen whenever you call the sample method? So it will return the 10. I'm just saying it will return the I value is 10. It will just return the 10 value, and the 10 will be placed in blue color. Okay, 10 will be placed in a blue color. If you see the same thing, if you write like so, like this, both are same, right? Int k equals to 10. Instead of directly initializing the value of 10 to the k, you are calling the sample method and getting the value by the return type and just storing it to the j. So both are same. If you see the syntax, so sample method will be returning something, and the value will be placed here. So j will be holded whatever the return value is, whatever the return value from a sample method. Now just print the value of a j. Just check it out how the flow will go now. See, main method started, and after that it is calling the sample. First it will just call the sample. Whenever you see in an assignment operator, let's say equals to, first it will execute the right side statement, and it will give to the j, and it will give to the left side. First the right side statement is a method, so you just need to call the method, and whenever you call the method, all the statements will be executed. The first line is sample called and returning int value, right? Returning int value. So it just printed, and after that it is just returning it is just declared and initialized the I equals to 10 and returning the I. So sample will be returned I, that means 10 value, and the same value will be stored in a j, and just printing the j value. So that is printing 10. And after that main ended. So one more thing, whatever the type here you declared, the same type should be returned, and the same type should be same type should be holded. Whenever you call a method, same type should be holded. Three rules. First one, if you declare any type, The same type should be written and the same type should be holded in the caller part. Okay. So this is about return type. Understood? Everyone? Anyone has any confusion syntaxical wise, concept wise? Let me know. So this is okay, that's fine. This is about a return type from a method, and we can just see one more method. Just copy the method and paste it. You should not create two methods with the same name. So since the signature is everything is same, you should not create it. So duplicate method sample, you should not create it, but there is a concept method overloading that will make use of it by using the different arguments. That's a next concept. I mean, in the whoops concepts. So change the name, change it to the test, and return the string now. Return the string. Now it is giving an error because you are just returning the int value. You have to make it as a string. So directly return the string. Don't create a variable returning. So Java is a programming language. I just wanted to return as a string in a double quotes, right? If you call the test method, if you call the test method, type of this test method, then somebody go to mute, please. Yeah. Okay. Whenever you call the test method, what is the return type of a test method? You have to see the return type and just use the same return type here because it will definitely return the same type. Otherwise, it will not allow inside of this method itself. It will not allow. So string is equals to test. So test, whenever you call a test, it will just return some value. So the value will be placed here in the right side. Okay. Now just print the S, and in between these two, just print some horizontal line to differentiate the outputs. Right. Now execute this. So this is for integer sample method, and this is a test method. Right. This is a string. Returning some string value and run it again. Test method is called and returning the string value. So this is the string value is returned, and this is the integer value is returned, and main ended. So this is about, you can use anything. You can just try some other types as well. So double, float, by keeping everything, it will work. Okay. So get familiar with the syntaxes first. Whenever the basics is going on, I mean first part, as we discussed, very first part. Whenever the basics is going on, this is all about the syntaxes. Have to get familiar with this. Then only we can able to go to the oops concepts very quickly and very fast pace. Okay. And there will be one more concept. So that is method with the, we just seen till now, method without return type and method with return type. Without return type is nothing, just like a, you just need to keep a void. If you put a void, you don't need to return anything. Okay. Method without return type, method with return type, and method with arguments. So let's take that example. So let's see how can we create a method with the argument. With arguments. Just create a main method again. So main method is created. So what is the use of a method now? You will get it after this. If you wanted to keep some code, I mean, if you wanted to have some code, repetitive code, let's say you have some repetitive code, multiple places. So how can you do, I mean, how can you avoid the repetitive code? You just need to create a method and place the code inside of a method, just call it. So it's a reusability, right? So wherever you want, how many times you want, how many times ever you want, you can just call it. There is no restriction. So that's the advantage of a method actually. You don't need to place a common code, repetitive code, dummy code in everywhere. You just need to place it in some method and just make use of it. Just call that method. So that's a use of a methods actually. So now the method with the arguments. So just create a method public static void. Instead of void, you can keep return type or without return type. This is some segment. You can have a permutation combinations you can apply here. So without return type, with return type. You can apply these two on with arguments or without arguments. As of now, just be seen without arguments only. There is no arguments in this. You can observe. So there is arguments for main method. Just leave it. User defined methods. There is no arguments, and only the return type and without return type we just seen. But here I wanted to go with the without return type only. So just see. I just create a test method. So this is a without return type and without arguments. So normal method. If you wanted to add an argument to this method, let's see int I. You wanted to add an integer argument. This is a syntax for it. So argument is nothing, but if you wanted to call this test method, you have to pass an integer to the test method. Otherwise, you can't able to call it. So let's see system.println test method with the int I. Just test method with okay. I'm just printing the value of I. Whatever is sending to this method, I'm just using it. You can just directly use instead of a, I mean, you can just directly use the arguments, or else you can directly create a int j equals to like this. You can just print the j, or else you can directly use the arguments. Either way, you can do that. So now call the test method. Okay. Now call the test method. If you wanted to call test method without passing arguments, it is giving an error. So what is the error? Compilation error. The method test of int in the type in this class, method with arguments class, is not applicable for 0 arguments. It should have an argument. So there is a 3 quick fixes. Add argument to the match test int. So it will directly 0 by default. Change the method test into the remove parameter. This is asking to change the method signature itself, remove the integer argument in the method itself, or else create a new method without an argument. That is also one of the quick fix. One of the options you can able to create. But I wanted to add a integer argument. Instead of 0, I would like to pass a 10. Okay. So this is a now, if you see the syntax is matched. Test with the integer argument. Here you are trying with the test with the 10. So it is matched. And whenever you pass a 10 value, it will come here and it will execute this and it will print the 10 value here. Just execute it. See, test method with int argument is called and the argument value is 10. Whatever you pass, that value will be printed. Write out 20, right? So this is about a method with return type. So sorry, method with arguments. You can have n number of arguments in this. So copy, and you can have just change it to demo and int I comma separated int I int j, or else you can keep string. Yes, you can keep anything. You can keep anything, but it should be comma separated and the signature should be matched. Let's say 2 arguments I created. I wanted to create a one more in the same method itself. 3 arguments is there. If you wanted to call, this, you need to pass three arguments. I'm just printing s as well. I'm just printing k as well. So 3 is printing. 3 values are printing. Whenever you call this method, you call this and 3 methods will be printed. You can have n number of arguments and you just need to differentiate by you just need to call demo method. You can see demo of int I comma string s comma int k. Okay, so what I'm trying to say, whenever you try to call the demo, so it is showing 3 arguments in the method signature itself. I mean, in the suggestions itself, when you call it, it is expecting I comma s comma k. That doesn't matter, but you can change the names, but it is a 3 arguments. In the top of it, it's a bold color whenever you're typing I. Let's say 10, I am just typing. Give the tab, it will go to the string, and in the double quotes, you can just keep it as Java and give the tab again. Just this is just like some shortcuts for Eclipse only. Int k, I just want to give 10, 20. So done. Whenever you call this method, so you're just passing 10 as the first argument and Java is the second argument, 20 is the third argument. So I will become 10 and S will become Java, and K will become 20 instead of this method. Let's try this. See, test method with 3 arguments is called 10, Java, 20, right? So this is how we need to call, we need to write a method with the arguments, and we need to call the method by specifying the arguments values. Okay, you can directly use I or j any variable instead of direct values. That's fine. Okay. So this is about a return type, method without return type, method with return type, and method with argument. And you can combine all the things in a single example, like method with return type and with arguments. Let's see the small example that there is a 3 concepts, and just I'm combining last 2 with argument and with return type. So how it will be look like? Let's see. Method with return type and argument. So it is not suggested this much big name, but meaningful. I'm just created. Create a main method. Okay. Now, if you see there, I mean, you can create a one method like public void. So this is about a method with return type. I just wanted to return int, and the method name is demo. And this is a method with argument as well. So I just wanted to create argument. So int I, let's say, sorry, this is static. So this is a method signature, public static int demo and int I. So return type is int. It should return an int value. If you're not returning this, this method itself will not allow to compile. And this method will expect the integer value to send as a input or parameter or argument. Okay. So we just need to first, we will finish the return statement. Return, we will just apply some logic, like whatever the number you send as an argument, I'm just increment the number and just returning the number. I'm just incrementing it, return the I. Okay, just keep it as demo method is called. Okay, this is how you need to do. Like, I mean, I just wanted to give the program as give the method return type as whatever the number you send, I just wanted to increment that and send that number. So that's it. That's what my requirement. So let's create a method. Okay. Now instead of this, you need to call the demo method. So this method, demo method, containing an argument and as well as it is containing a return type. So you just need to pass some value. Just pass a 10, and it will return something as well. You no need to put, I mean, it's not a mandatory to save the value whatever is written, but the purpose is what? The purpose of a return statement is what? You need to make use of it. So you have to catch it and you have to save it in somewhere. So use a j or else I itself, that's not a problem. So just print the value of j. So whenever you call the demo method with the 10, it will come here and it will execute this. 10 will become 11 and returning the 11. Right? Just call this method. See, the value which is returned is 11. So that's how we need to make use of it. The return types and return values from a method. And we will just see one example, that is arithmetic operations again. Focus on it. So here we just see in an arithmetic in the basics. In this arithmetic operation, just we are not using any methods. We are directly using I and j value and just doing the sum there itself. I just wanted to create a one method for sum. There is a separate method for subtraction, and there is a separate method for multiplication, division, everything. So let's do that. Arithmetic operations example, and create a main method. And inside of this main method, just leave it and create a one more method, just like a public static, and it should return the int. Arithmetic operations solve for integer only. Let's talk about add. It will add a two. It will expect a two numbers, and which will do the sum of those two numbers and just return the sum. Int j. So it will just return I plus j. Just return I plus j. Directly you can keep it, or else you can just use a sum I plus j, return the sum. Both are same. Return the sum. And this is for sum. And the same thing you can use it, same method you can use it for subtraction, and use a minus and use a sub. Okay, same method you can use it for multiplication. Give the star. You can use the same name, but meaningful wise I'm writing multiplication. Same, you can use it for division as well. Okay, so this is how you have to make a methods specific method with the add, subtraction, multiplication, and division, and you can use it for modulo as well. How to use? You have to give the percentile. It will give the reminder. Use the reminder. So now instead of a main method, the execution will start from a main method, right? Just create two variables, int I equals to 20 and int j equals to 4, right? Just call these five methods from a main method by using I, by passing I comma j. You just need, I mean, there is no mandatory. You can have other names as well. Don't confuse. So I just use I and j as well, both for the both methods. You can use any name. So this is the scope of I and j is within the method only. So that's why there is no problem for this. Okay. Now call the add method. Pass the I comma j, I j. That's fine, and it will return something. You can just save it to the add, or else you can just use a sum and print it. Sum equals to sum, and do for a subtraction as I comma j, store into the sub and print it. Okay, now same thing for multiplication, and print the mode. Same thing for div. For last reminder modulo. You have to take care like what it is using. You have to just see. Sometimes it will pick some other names as well. So it will just pick the div for first argument. You just need to focus. Reminder is modulo. Okay, so this is how we have to create a methods, and this method is only for this method will serve the purpose of what? It will just serve the addition. That's it. It will just take any numbers and will just give the sum of those two numbers. Wherever you want, you just need to call this method, get the sum of it, get the sum of two numbers, right? So just run this. You can see sum is 24 and subtraction is 16, multiplication is 8, and division it went for 5 times, and the remainder is 0. It went it divided perfectly, so that's why remainder is 0, right? So this is how we can make use of methods with return type and with arguments. Yeah, both can be done in a single example. So this is how we can use it. So any doubts still here? I'm expecting some doubts at least. Any doubts, any clarifications, any syntax wise, just need to, yeah, please ask me. Everyone understood? I can't able to hear you, Manav. Okay, fine. So I hope everyone is understood, and just practice this classes. I mean, the methods is really important. Everywhere we will use the methods only. Everywhere, without methods, nothing. One second. Okay, so everywhere we will use the methods only. So just focus on it and let me know if you face any difficulties, syntaxes. Just get familiar. This is really important. Just get familiar with all the stuff. Yeah, we'll meet tomorrow again. Okay, thanks for joining. Bye. Take care. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.